The State of the Nation bill was passed in the House of Representatives for President Goodluck Jonathan to deliver a State of the Nation address before a joint sitting of the National Assembly regarding the state of security, economic matters, among others, in the country. Following that, Mr. President sent a correspondence to the House stating that Section 67 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, does not mandate him to deliver a State of the Nation address, but that he may at his own discretion. Pursuant to that, a bill was sponsored by the minority leader of the House, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, to amend Section 67 to mandate Mr. President to deliver a State of the Nation address to a joint sitting of the National Assembly. To this end, Honorable Femi, in his argument, said the amendment will enable Nigerians to know exactly what government is doing.
State of the Nation address, as found in other advanced democracies, is not a personal thing against Mr. President. It is a bill that will stand the test of time and will inure to the benefit of Nigerians. Mr. Speaker, it is very simple. The amendment is very simple. And it says, it replaces Section 67, subsection 1, and substitutes it with a new subsection as follows: that the President shall attend any joint meeting of the National Assembly once every year to deliver an address on any issue or issues in respect of the state of the nation in a manner determined by the National Assembly.
Some lawmakers argued that amending Section 67 of the Constitution will only undermine the powers of Mr. President, while others argued that the President owed it to the general public to deliver the State of the Nation address so as to carry the masses along.
The attempt to compel the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to compulsorily appear before the National Assembly will be overreaching. I say so because I've taken my time to study this particular section in our ground norm and that of other countries. I have not seen any where the word shall is used compulsorily to ensure that the President appears.
I believe and I am convinced that if we amend this provision, underlining the word shall in that particular provision, it will run foul of the provision of Section 5 of the Constitution, vis-a-vis the provision of Section 148 of the Constitution. I believe and I am convinced before reasonable doubt, or rather reasonable doubt, that in amending any law, we must be very mindful of other provisions of the Constitution that this law that we are going to amend will run foul of.
Section 5 of the Constitution grants Mr. President the unfettered executive powers. There cannot be authority without responsibility. So I do not see why anybody should say we should not pass this bill, which is for the benefit of Nigerians on whom Mr. President exercises his executive powers.
It is imperative for us to look beyond today, to make sure that government will look at the future of Nigeria. We should be very futuristic in our own thought about Nigeria of today. If we must understand what is in government, you may have the privilege of doing that because you are in government yourself, but the Nigerian outside there does not have that privilege. And the only way he can understand what government is doing is for the President to come before her house and speak to her on issues that are taking place in this country.
Despite heated arguments, the bill received an overwhelming support.
Those in favor that the bill be now read the second time should please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it.
Also at plenary, a bill for an act to alter the provision of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to include the national security agencies and the Nigerian police in the first charge of the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation, scaled through second reading. Sponsor of the bill, Honorable Samson Osage, and other members noted that the bill, if passed, will enable security agencies to discharge their duties effectively.
The nature of the security problems that we have in this country today called for one for which our dear nation must pay serious attention to intelligence gathering with a view to ensuring that our security problems and criminal activities are nipped in the bud.
The amount appropriated against these agencies is subject to the whim and caprices of the Ministry of Finance. Then the possibility of this body compromising their responsibility could arise.
In the course of the interaction, the House was moved to agree to grant these requests by the security agencies. It was on this basis that the draft bill that we have considered today came up. Now, Mr. Speaker summed up the decision of the House from the chair.
Both bills were referred to the ad hoc committee on the review of the 1999 Constitution for further legislative action. Charity Marcus, ITV News, Abuja.